Hi, I'm Simon Zaleski.
I'm Liddy Schultz.
Cole Weissett.
I'm Matt Darwin.
I'm Charlie Berger.
I'm Taj Cogell Brown.
I'm Hannah Copplestone.
I'm Kelly Rawson.
I'm Remy Lifsitz.
I'm Patrina Simpalo.
I'm Sky Sanchez.
I'm Alana Blaustein.
So, what is Shed a Light? Basically, basically, the goal of our project was to raise awareness of discrimination and the assumptions that go unnoticed in Wellesley High School and the school community. This is a common issue, and we believe that it needs to start being recognized.
And like we said before, what inspired us to do this was a racist email was sent to a teacher in the school. And we just wanted to raise awareness and create conversation about what goes on in the school and race and racism and microaggressions and stuff like that.
So what we actually did is we put up some clear sticker papers with photos of some students and faculty around the school, and each poster has an I am not, an I am statement. So each person gets to say something that they've either been called or an assumption that has been made about them, and then correct that assumption and say what they truly are or something that they actually identify with.
Right, and the idea here is that these people don't have a choice whether or not they have to, whether or not they face these assumptions. So basically, we put these posters all around the school so the people making the assumptions will see who they're actually affecting and along with their face.
So for the actual poster layout, we wanted the main focus to actually be on the person in the statement. We created the hashtag Shed a Light, so we can emphasize shedding a light on the areas that may seem dark in our school. We made the text of it. We wanted it to be black except for the actual statement where the person has corrected themselves to be in red, so it can emphasize this is what I am, this is truly me. We originally had it so that way the false accusation was in red, but then we decided that would draw too much attention to the part that they actually wanted to correct. So we decided to switch it around. We wanted to focus a lot on the aesthetics of it, and we wanted them to be very similar. So all of them have the person taking up most of the space, and in the blank space above them, we included the Evolutions logo so we could tell everyone that this is a project that we're working on. We have the Shed a Light at the bottom, and we made it clear so that way you could see through it. And the text at the top is all sort of different. When we take you around later and show you, you can see how we've adjusted them so it fits so that everyone can use the picture that they wanted to while including the text, but a lot of them look the same.
So the statements that we included in all of the pictures, we had the same structure for the statements, which is an I am not blank, I am blank statement. So the idea behind this was that, this racist email got sent out, and this was really talked about thoroughly around the school, but a lot of students were talking about how this is just another occurrence of racism in our school that we face every day, and other types of discrimination and assumptions also come up every day, and so we wanted to shed a light on those things as well. So saying the I am not section of the statement and putting that up in a poster around the school sort of gave people the ability to say yes, I've been discriminated against too in this way, and this is how I'm sort of overcoming that with the second part of the statement.
So we wanted, we thought about like a way that we'd be able to get people to get their pictures and like their statements. So we came up with like this process where we'd have this sheet right there. People would put down their name, their statement, and the school email, so we'd be able to like connect with them later if they didn't have their statement at that very point. We set up like different, I wouldn't say checkpoints, but there were certain places in the school that we went, like the cafeteria, so that where there's a lot of people, so that we could like recruit people for the Shadow Light project.
So we also, before we started the project, we made our own posters so we could put them around in the school so people would get an idea of how they would look like and get an idea for what they would want to say for their statements. And so when people signed up, they didn't have to think about it right away, so because it's really hard to think of something to put on the poster and to think about if they want their face up in the school.
So for me, I'm a part of the MECO program and also a part of the YES organization that created like the whole walkout. And the easiest thing that I thought that I could do was go to the MECO room, where I knew there would be a lot of students who would like to participate in this project. And yeah, they were also like people who started out the whole project too and got people, once there were posters up on the windows, people, as soon as people saw them, like it caught their eyes, they automatically was like, oh, like what is this? And then asked us about it, and then that helps us to create more of them and get more people involved.
So basically, when we first put these up, we started seeing people just stopping in the hallways and looking at the posters, and that was basically like the point of the whole thing, is that we would have the light come through and people's eyes are like automatically drawn to the windows. So we had people like stopping in the hallway. I remember like the first day we had them up, people were just stopped, and like people weren't even like, couldn't even walk up the stairs because everyone was looking at them, which was really awesome.
So yeah, like what Alana said, it was really interesting to kind of see how when we were putting them up, the stairs were completely clogged. People couldn't get by because everyone was stopping and looking. But I stayed after a little bit to see what the reaction was after we left, just to make sure it wasn't us being there causing the reaction. And it was really cool to see people they were still walking up, reading the little posters that we had up explaining our project. They were still just as interested, and it was really cool to have people come up, and because they know I'm a part of the Evolutions program, so they came up to me and asked, what is this? Can I participate? I've had students, teachers, people from all over the school ask about it, so it's really cool to know that our project is making a pretty big impact on the community.
All right, here are some examples.
You want to talk about the examples
Yeah,
first?
sure. So we have all these different templates basically with all these people who wanted to participate, but the only reason we've stopped right now is because we ran out of the material that we used to make the posters.
These are the creativity, and they're just so amazing.
I mean, they're super eye-catching. I mean, they weren't kidding when they really said they thought about how they were going to make this pop.
Yes, and for me to not have words to say.
This is true.
I am listening to the students and the thought process behind it, and making sure that they thought about every detail. Right. That is really the critical thinking that is not only showing up in this project and thinking about how would the human being be displayed, making sure that the face and the person is the most seen, but also the wording and the colors. But that is what we're asking, and I think what they're asking students to do is think deeper, think more than the cover of the book, in a sense, and be able to understand that beyond our human exterior, that there is a human being and an individual that identifies and feels and exudes, just awesomeness, and to be able to experience that and to be able to see that and to be able to question that and be curious about that. So these are just an amazing, and what I hope to hear from the students is that this is what's happening, is that it's giving students an understanding that there is more than meets the eye, and as children and students walk in school together, that they understand that stereotypes are no good, that they don't obviously tell the truth about us as human beings. And so I think this is amazing. I think the students have done an amazing job. I hope they stay up here for a really long time, and that we begin to build conversations around it so students are able to really think about how this makes them feel.
And I'm blown away by the ethos. It's almost like a Steve Jobs, sort of ethos that they've made work here with the combination of technology, engineering, and a powerful message.
Well,
and they have a little descriptor up here on the corner too about what it's about. Shed a light.
Well, it's 21st century learning, right? I mean, this is 21st century learning. This is our students. If we give them tools, access, and opportunity,
what they can do,
they will lead the way and they will shed a light.
Sure. My name is Brian Corey. I'm one of the teachers for the Evolutions program. And the project that you see here on the walls is one of our community partnership units that we do, in which students design and implement a project that they feel somehow relates to the community, benefits the community, or will help stand out in the community.
Awesome. How was it working with this bunch of students on this particular project?
This was a fantastic project. We had begun creating a different project, and because of some logistics, we had to change our project. And some issues here at the high school arose, which really kind of led us to creating this almost guerrilla art installation. It was a great project to work with the students because I get to actually act more like a coach versus a teacher. Students really picked up the ball and were the ones who designed the project, created the project, implemented the project.
What do you think about this, and what do you think the impact is?
Okay, so I'm Brooke Hamilton. I'm a senior at this school. And I think that this is very powerful for the school, and I think it's sending a good message that we shouldn't judge people and that we should let them be who they want to be and express who they feel they want to be in the world, without judgment.
Nice. How about you?
I'm Francesca Curtin. I'm a junior, and I think it's really nice to see familiar faces around the school and not just people we don't know, so it really hits home.
I'm Olivia. I'm a junior, and I think it's a nice reminder every day. It kind of forces you to address the issue, which is really important.
I'm Erin Fleming. I'm a junior, and they're on every floor too, some of these pictures, so I feel like exactly what Olivia said. It's just a good reminder, and seeing all these people around that you know even, and how they're behind it too is really important.
So do you feel like it's made a difference, or do you see people acting differently or talking about it?
My name is Josh Ortega. I'm a junior, and I think people start looking at others differently due to this. They stop judging on how they look.
I think it's good, let people be who they are, show their identity.
Do you think people stopped to really take a look at it? There was a big crowd when these went up.
The pictures? Yeah. I do. I don't know about anybody else. Yeah, but I feel like people probably do.
What's your favorite one? Do you have a favorite one?
I'm not just an athlete. I'm an educated black man.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I saw Mr. Hightower. She's like, "I'm not your boy. I'm your man. I'm a man."
Right. And that was a teacher?
Yeah. Shout out Mr. Hightower.
We had a really good timing with this project, having it go up right after the walkout, because I think the walkout was very successful, but the biggest feedback that everyone was hearing afterwards was okay, we did something really great, but is this another time where we do something and still nothing happens? And so I think this was something that people started to see around the school, and we're okay, people are starting to do something, this school is starting to make a difference, and so that's why I think people were so interested in, like, I've heard so many good things about this project in the last week.
Like what?
Like that people are like, because I have one up in the main staircase, and like a lot of my friends who really associate with the one I put up mine is I'm not less of a man, I'm an actor. Because, you know, that's an assumption and discrimination that's made against specifically like male actors in this community, and people have been really proud of me for that, and I think everyone else who sees the other posters who it really resonates with them, they feel the same way. So even the people that didn't want to put up a poster, like, they're just as much a part of this because they're so like excited and like proud of this.
If they didn't want their photo taken, we actually talked to them. We took their statement down, and we would talk to them and say, like, oh, there's actually a statement really similar to yours. So even if your poster isn't up, there is a statement that could resonate with you, even if you don't want that being so public.
People are too afraid to put themselves out there. There's probably going to be a poster that you can relate to, and so it's just showing people that they're not alone in their issues and that everyone goes through something.
That's right. For me, I think that is to also challenge you guys. I talked about this yesterday, of that your work isn't done, right? And it's thinking about, my challenge to you guys is, what are you going to do with that? How are you going to create that culture, right? Because essentially, even if these voices are here and the ones who aren't, right? And Simon, I'm going to kind of use you as an example. You're like, I don't really feel comfortable. How do we make you feel comfortable? How do we get people to acknowledge that these assumptions are made, that these microaggressions are being said, and for other people to say, okay, well, what needs to be changed in this community? Because I think that's a big part, is what do you guys want to do to change that culture? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind here at Wellesley High School?
So if I do hear someone say something like this, so if I identify with you, right, like, well, can't really think of something that maybe someone said to me, and, you know, I walk through the world, and, you know, obviously I'm white, I'm the majority culture, I, you know, fit into the norms of what has made, or what people think Wellesley High School is. So how can I use my voice when I hear another student saying something that might impact one of my friends or one of the students in the community? And I think that is something, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, how do you do that? How do you speak up? How do you do that in a way that is respectful, and that you call people in? I think a lot of times you use language of calling people out or confronting people. Let's change that language to actually calling people in and having a conversation, because it's definitely one thing to bring attention to it, and then how do we build the capacity for students to have the skills and the courage and the bravery to say, wow, you know what you just said, actually, I think that impacted me a little bit, and not quite sure how I feel about that. Can I ask you why you said that, or why you think that? Or, you know, I used to think that, and I don't think that anymore, and this is why. And so some of those ways that we can sort of model that behavior, as you are now bringing this to the attention, people want skills. People want to know, okay, I get what you tell me not to do, but then what do I do? And how do I unlearn these stereotypes? How do I unlearn these things that I have put people in boxes, because I don't want to do that? So again, just something more broad to think about. And again, I know maybe some of you are leaving next year, and so how do you pass this along down to your other students? And it's a lot to take on, and I realize it's a marathon, not a sprint, to get it done, but just something to think about.
So I think that the most shocking thing for me was how many people actually participated, because the first few days of the project was really hard, because, you know, we started with a few of us and a few other people. I think we started with like 5, and we were really worried that not enough people were going to want to participate and take part in what we're doing. And unfortunately, we really started to get a lot of people right as soon as the printer broke. But it's still great to know that we still have at least 10, 15 unfinished or unprinted posters still waiting to be printed. So knowing that there's always going to be more people, and knowing that it really has affected the community in a way that I had never thought it could.
What was surprising to me was how much good feedback that we've gotten back, and how much people actually liked our project. And because with the walkout, we've got we've had a lot of supporters for the walkout, and I was really nervous though, because after the walkout took place, we've gotten a lot of negativity from it too, and I was scared that by following up from the walkout with these posters, I was scared that we would get negativity about our posters too, but that didn't happen, so I was surprised with that.
Charlie. Oh, Charlie, that was great. 1, 2, 3.
I'm Jaden Lumley,
I'm Julia Palladino.
and our project was mobile storytelling.
And what's it about?
We basically created a mobile storytelling booth to go around Wellesley to archive people's stories from the town and create a community.
And is it any kind of story?
Yeah, any type of story you have that you want to tell or you want to share, you're openly glad to. Just hop in the booth and you just record, and you can play it back and tell any story you have.
And where do the archives go after you get a whole bunch of stories?
The Wellesley Historical Society is going to collect them and have them for future, in the future years, just to go back to, and yeah.
It's very cool. So how did you guys think of this as an inspiration for this project?
Well, we were told we were working with the Wellesley Free Library and the Wellesley Historical Society, and so once we heard that, we had an idea. We knew that they wanted to make some type of storytelling booth, so we kind of got to put our own spark on it and kind of design it and do everything custom from what we wanted.
And it's designed to be an outdoor exhibit, is that right?
Yeah, you could take it outside, or since it's connected to a bike, so we can either bike it down the street or set up anywhere. We just have to ask the owner, but it can go anywhere outside.
So when you say mobile, you really mean mobile.
Yeah.
Right? And then do you take shifts on who's biking?
Yeah, someone's going to be on the bike.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So when you heard about this project, did you jump on right away, or why did you pick this one versus something else?
Well, I personally chose this one instead of the other two because I feel like I love to tell stories, and I feel like you can learn a lot through stories. So this is why I feel like, and my grandmother, she used to love to tell stories, so I felt like the most personally connected to this one, so that's why I chose this one.
About you?
I was very interested about actually building and actually creating something from scratch. I'm a very creative person, so I thought it would be fun to kind of create something from literally nothing and have it be part of the community.
And have you added your own stories to it?
Yeah, we're going to. Once it's not totally done yet, we're gonna have to put a few more hours into it, but once it's totally done, we're definitely gonna add our stories in.
Is there a limit?
No.
And how long is it going to run for?
I think so far we have about 5 or 6 events actually planned. Right. But then we're going to see how those go, and then from there see if we can add some more in.
Including the Wellesley Multicultural Festival that's coming up this May for World of Wellesley. Yep. Awesome. Tell us about this.
This is a sculpture that we made out of water bottles from our high school. We threw out 9 lunches. So we collected all of these, and we made a W out of them in order to get people to come over and learn about what we're doing, our cause. So we also thought that by doing the W, it would be Raider Pride, as well as showing how Wellesley, our school, is collecting these water bottles, and that's this W representing Wellesley and representing us.
So tell me your name.
I'm Mackenzie.
And what year are you in?
I'm a junior.
And you are?
Owen, I'm a junior.
And what was the inspiration behind doing this?
So for our Evolutions project, there were 3 community partnerships that we were able to choose. And when hearing about all 3, I just thought this one was so important because of the environment and how these water bottles, what really surprised me was how only 30% actually get recycled in the United States. And also the fact that they're going into the oceans and polluting our oceans and our earth, which in a long time will be a huge problem.
Is this do you have one of these all over the school, or is it just in a specific area?
We're putting this in the cafeteria near the recycling to show like this was just from 3 hours, so one day of all lunches was all these water bottles.
This is one day.
Yeah.
This is 3 lunches.
3 lunches.
Yeah, in one day.
In one day. Wow, that's quite a lot of plastic. Strong work. Anything else you guys want to add about this? What your parents think? What your friends think?
I know a lot of my friends thought good things. They were like, "Oh wow, good for you," and they were like hopping onto the bandwagon, helping us out.
Was anyone else as shocked as I am about how much plastic is here?
People didn't know that. Like I thought, most people thought it was all getting recycled, but only 30%. So that was shocking to a lot of people.
Is that because people just don't put in the right bin for recycling?
We found out a lot of people throw out their water bottles. Like we found so much in the trash. We found some of these in the trash, some of these in the recycling bins, and then also we collected them in a huge tarp, which we advertised so that everyone could come.
So you two are so committed that you went through the trash.
Not me, specifically, but a lot of our group members.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, impressive.
So I'm Sue Morris. I work with Wellesley Green Schools, and we all worked on this project with the Evolutions kids.
I'm Brandon Schmidt, Director of the Wellesley Natural Resources Commission.
I'm Phyllis Tierman with Green Schools and Sustainable Wellesley.
Awesome. So what did you guys think of this?
It was incredible. I was really, really impressed with the amount of research. The students clearly care a lot about this issue, and all the angles that they hit to try to educate people about this issue is really, really impressive.
Yeah, they did a great job. They put together some great visuals, these signs. The data that they collected was really useful. And, again, they seemed really engaged and interested, and I think they made some difference here. I think they changed some behavior at the high school.
So you got people to notice how much plastics they're throwing out every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what was actually also great was that they went to the Wellesley Middle School, and he said they had like 50 or 70 kids come up to him. The Wellesley Middle School lunchtime is very short, and that these kids actually got up, wanted to hear what the high schoolers had to say, listened to them, interacted with them, and then went back to their tables and said, hey, did you know about this fact or that fact about water bottles? So I think it just went beyond Wellesley High School, which we're very happy about too.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here and talking to us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a great W.